Yeah. What is it good for? Absolutely. Nothing. Say it again, y'all. Look out. What is it good for? Absolutely. Nothing. Listen to me. I despise. 'Cause it means destruction of innocent lives. War means tears to thousands of mothers die when their sons go off to fight and lose their lives. I said war. Good God, y'all. What is it good for? Absolutely. Let's get said again. War. Lord. What is it good for? Absolutely. Nothing. Listen to
You're a good debater and you're not afraid of a fight. So why have your comments off? Just out of curiosity.
Well, I've turned them on for a lot of things.
On your shorts you do.
Right. In some of my lives, I think they're on, but almost as soon as I turn them on, there's photos of my family's homes,
Okay.
what's the address, and at what point, and I just want to clarify,
Yeah, please.
I don't have to take that abuse.
Agreed.
Like, I don't come to work and slap the dick out of their mouth.
Kind of why do you have a disdain for informants in your opinion?
I don't disdain them, I downright fucking hate them.
That's what it means.
That's okay. But see, this is why I can say it.
Yeah,
That guy Jeff's crazy. He's on medication. I have a disdain for them because no man should ever go to prison on the words of another man, number one. Number two, in 90% of the cases you look at, the informant has done more vile and disturbing crap than those that are being accused. Number three, I find it oxymoronic when a man, Joey Merlino, because everybody knows who he is, he goes in front of a judge, they can bring up everything he's ever been accused of, including murders and whatever else. Even though he's acquitted, it doesn't really matter because it's a character judgment. But yet in that same case, you can't turn that around and say, well, let's judge the rat. Judges don't allow that. So for me, it's like you're walking in, you're already behind the eight
And
ball.
now it's time for Mob Talk Radio with your host, Jeff Canarsie.
Tell you something. If you two never bother me again the rest of my life, I ain't giving them pension. I can't. There's good friends of mine out on the say. Well, he's divorced, we'll have to do his stuff. That's why I said to you before, you don't understand what the money is. The most of me is that the boss is your boss.
Hello, everybody, and I think it's Friday. Excuse me. It's been a long week here, but there is something that I kind of want to talk about, and basically, it's going to start some stuff, but I really don't give a fuck. Hold on, let me share this really quick. Okay, so we're going to talk about Joey Merlino for a couple of minutes, and there's a reason why. Gossip is not based on fact. Gossip is always based on opinion and not a fact. And as long as Joey has been sort of online, there's a lot of people making up a lot of stuff that's just not true. And it wasn't until yesterday when somebody sent me a video that I said, okay, enough is enough. Because now it's getting to the point where it's not even a circus anymore. It's the most degenerate stuff I've ever seen. And so if you hear this and you think it applies to you, it probably fucking does. Number one, a whole lot of you have a whole lot to say about a guy who you don't know, never met, never will, never shared a drink with, never shared a laugh with. All you are clout chasers, fanboys, and borderline idiots at this point. And those are facts, whether you like it or not. A whole bunch of you for months have been spewing untruths, inventing crimes that never happened, putting guys' names into the mix of events when the timelines don't even add up. With any backstory, right, you're going to have a narrative. You people are so desperate for a guy to say hello to you, you're willing to do anything. Tag him in every fucking video, hoping to God he'll say hello to you. And it's getting borderline pathetic. I know the guy. You don't. None of you do. Not a single one of you. And when I see some of the shit coming out of your mouth, I have to laugh because you're so far off base, so far off kilter. You wouldn't know a fact if it sat on your fucking face and wiggled. Yet you continue to invent things that have not taken place. Yesterday, a video was brought to my attention. Number one, this guy lives in Detroit, and he can barely get anything in Detroit right most days. But what on earth makes you think anybody from New York is going to tell this guy anything? Listen, I'm different than everybody else, right? That's why people do talk to me. But we don't talk about that kind of crap or anything else. We're friends. We talk about normal, common stuff. That's the bottom line. If I wanted to talk about current crap, nobody in this genre would be able to stand next to me. Nobody. But that's not my thing. I don't derive pleasure out of talking about stuff because I'm not a big mouth and I'm not a dry snitch like half of these people. The mere fact that somebody would take to their YouTube channel and invent a story based on thin air and what gossipy cunts have to say, it blows my mind. It blows my mind. Number one, I've said it before, and I'm going to say it again. Believe whatever the fuck you want about Joey. But Joey does Joey. He's not up at night thinking about what the fuck you have to say. He's never backed down a day in his fucking life, and he's not going to start today, and he's not going to start tomorrow either. And the mere fact that anybody would invent a scenario of high-level meetings, it's fucking nonsense. And let me tell you why. Because a lot of people that watch these channels, with all due respect, I don't think you have much common sense. I could put two nails and two boards and say, hit one, and you'd go, which one? That's the point. That's how unintelligent a lot of people are. They just take whatever they hear and accept it as being the fucking truth when it's not. Number one, nobody gives a fuck. You know, these are the people who watch The Godfather and beat off during the choking scene when Luca Brasi looks like it looks like a fish. His eyes are bugging out. They beat off to that. They get off on that. They do not understand the very fundamentals of the streets at all. What one man does, nobody gives a fuck about. How does that affect them? I'll wait here for 6 years. Nobody's going to give me an answer to that. How does that affect them? It doesn't. If someone, and I say this with all due respect, if somebody wants to make a video of two dogs banging each other in the woods and put it on YouTube, how does that affect other people's pockets? How does that affect their business? It doesn't. And I'll tell you another thing. Philadelphia don't care what anybody fucking thinks about anything. That's the way they've always been. They support who they support. And if people want to meddle in their business, believe me, there is going to be a price to pay for that. I'm just telling you the truth. Guys are too busy with their own backyards to tend to somebody else's yard. And it doesn't stop borderline stalkers from talking about the guy every 10 fucking seconds. But it's only being done because the guy refused to even say hello to them, to even deal with them. They all wanted him so badly on their show. And when he said, not going to do it, they take it personally. They take it personally. And they take this weirdo crush that they have with this man to another level. And then all of a sudden begins to name drops ranks and positions, which is hilarious because part of that stuff he's done isn't even accurate either. Which is fine with me. I would rather they not be accurate and make imbeciles of themselves. And I don't think Baldy McFuckstain realizes that he has no scruples. He has no ethics. He has zero. I'm talking zero integrity. especially after he platformed Gunnar Lindblom, who was a fraud, and he knew it for years, but it didn't stop him from helping Gunnar perpetuate a character he was trying to play. And it wasn't until people in Detroit started getting on top of him about that he goes on Lee Cole's show and admits he's been lying for years. So if that's the case, why are you listening to anything that he said? Why? He has zero integrity. If you're going to lie about that, you're going to lie about everything else. And that's just the truth. If I came on here and I brought a guy on and I said, listen, this guy is XYZ, and he tells this big story and this narrative that he was this, and you find out that it's all lies and I help perpetuate that, I would be crucified the next day on YouTube immediately. Meanwhile, there's crickets when it comes to this guy. This dope has lied about Philly before, and this is just another example of an over-emotional hump not getting attention from Joey, so he's going to weave a Godfather-like story to emphasize how bad his heart hurts, because Joey's not interested. His sources are two people, George Anastasia and Dave Ratweiser. George ruined his career writing a lie-filled book, and he knows it. He has deflected, knowing that he lied and invented stories and didn't do research. He says, I looked at all the court documents. Really? Because we all did too. And we all have the same materials, and you lied. Those are just facts. Anastasia at one time was a prolific writer and a journalist, but he tossed that in the shitter with the last book that he wrote. So we have to consider him at this point, the kid on the playground that gets punched in the nuts for dimes and nickels. Dave Ratweiser is another one. He's a peeper. He's a guy who talks about Joey like they're lovers. He haunts these guys like the 7-year itch. He hides in bushes. He peeks over fences. He peeks into doorways. And then on top of it, gets caught more than once bending the facts to supplant himself as some in-the-know dude. And he's not. These are grown men who wake up in the morning, they drink their coffee, and they imagine how Joey could stroke their face after a night of booze, broads, and bedlam. This is how they act. That's who these people are. They're obsessed, and not in a natural or healthy way. And the reality is this, for me especially. You're free to invent. You're free to lie. You're free to say whatever you want, you want to say. But you're forgetting the number one rule. If you lie, if you invent, I'm going to be your worst nightmare. You don't have the right to put men in murder after murder they were never involved with. You have no business putting guys in crime after crime after crime, when the reality is you're guessing and attempting to make your opinion a fact when it's not even a fact. It's not even in the same fucking planetary system. These are emotional content makers. If they like you, they're going to drool all over your jock like sand fleas. If they're mad because you won't acknowledge them, you'll then talk about a guy's wife. You'll talk about his kids. And then you'll put other people and friends of his into mayhem that they were never involved with. You would rather appear like you're some sort of expert than tell the truth. Salacious stuff is salacious stuff. Drama is drama. I get it. But at some point, you have a due diligence to tell these people, well, it's my opinion. But based on what? On what Dave Schratweiser says to you? This is a guy who used to punch himself in the back of the head at the Studio 54. That's the way I see it. But I think that everybody forgets the most important thing, good, bad, and indifferent. You're fucking with people who, if we believe 1% of anything about the allegations the feds have made about them, will not hesitate in hurting you. But it's easy to sit at your little keyboard and pound away when you live in Michigan, when you live in Lancaster, or wherever the fuck it is you people live. Smarten the fuck up. Stop playing the jilted lover and be honest with yourself about your inner feelings and be honest about the facts. And tell people, listen, this is my opinion. You can't prove it, but this is my opinion based on XYZ. But your opinion is always fucking based on a book. Your opinion is based on what other men say because you don't know anybody. You don't know Joey. You don't know nobody in South Philadelphia. So what are you basing this on? A book? A movie? Like, what are you basing it on? Where is your acumen coming from? I have heard this repeated over and over and over again by idiots. Oh, well, John Gotti killed the boss. That was so against the rules. Says who? Go back to history. This is something that has happened all the time. Gene Borello, rubber lips, had the balls say, oh, look what Joey did. Look what Joey did. He killed the boss. That was so out of line and so against the rules. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Well, he was talking about John Gotti. He was talking about John Gotti. I put Joey's name in there, but I meant John Gotti. Oh, look at what look, he's breaking all the rules. What rules? What are you talking about? The rules apply when the rules apply. Bottom line. And I would think, since Gene, you're such a fucking gangster, that you'd have known that. And he actually said in one video, oh, Luciano, those guys didn't do that. Yes, they did. Carlo Gambino did it. Like, are you that stupid? This is why I get fed up with the genre, because they say it makes it so. It's not because I say it so. I'm just, start to listen, folks, with your ears. Hear what they're saying. What the four of you don't get, Detroit, Lancaster, Philly, and Jersey, you guys should all go get a fucking tent and do a sleepover in a guy's yard and run your mouth towards the house and see what happens. You know, you guys can play with each other, taking turns playing mob boss, and have a good old-fashioned West Virginia barnyard bang. You can argue, you all can argue with each other over whether Joey's better looking than this one and that one. And you can take turns fantasizing on situations where Joey says hi to you and how you would react. And each fantasy is going to get bigger and bigger and more perverse as time goes on. And this is who all of you are. You're grown men fawning over another man. Fuck out of here. So you can write your little soap operas, because that's essentially what you're doing. There was a high-level meeting between this one, and this one's allegedly this, and this one's allegedly that. Like, do you have any common sense about the streets? You think anybody gives a fuck? Everybody's minding their own business. That's like me being on bowling alley number 1, minding my business, trying to break a high score, and worrying about what the fuck lane 32 is doing. Meanwhile, the motherfucker's a cross-eyed nun with a bullwhip and a bottle of Jack with the fucking, the bumper sticking out. I don't give a fuck what they're doing. And nobody in New York is going to give a fuck what anybody's doing. Why are you going to invest time into being upset or doing this or doing that in a city that you ain't going to have the balls to go down and start shooting it up with anyway, number one? And number two, why are you going to draw heat to yourself that way? But it's funny because people will tell you shit and you run with it like it's a fucking fact. And you didn't tell anybody that it wasn't factual. You made it seem like it was. I would love to know the jerk-offs that tell you everything. Because you don't get much right, pal. You really don't. You really don't. And so my whole point to this is stop inventing a soap opera and a narrative to a movie we've all seen. The Godfather's a movie. Goodfellas is a movie. And the people that continue to talk about films in the mob genre saying, well, I mean, if you look at The Godfather, it's a fucking movie. It's not real life. In a movie, a guy gets shot in the fucking head. He stands up after the scene is over and goes over, wipes off his tie and grabs a fucking cannoli off the fucking tray. In real life, a guy gets shot. He doesn't get up off the pavement. But yet, I continue to hear these guys who are your experts. These are the guys who write books and know it all, consistently talk about films and other books as being truthful. It's not. Have any of you ever been around a gangster in your life? They don't wear tracksuits. I'll give you a tip. They don't wear tracksuits. So all these jerk-offs that keep coming up on fucking YouTube wearing the tracksuits and playing a role, that's not how real guys dress. Most of the guys I know, most of the ones I know, wear a shirt and jeans, sweatshirt, where they dress really nice. They don't wear the silk suits. This is costumes. This is what you people don't understand. And I have repeatedly heard content after content creator say these things like they know what they're talking about. And anybody on the streets will tell you you have no idea what you're talking about. What the fuck does Ronald McDonald care what the fuck Hamburglar is doing with the fucking whatever the fuck? I don't know all the characters, sorry. What does he care? What does he care? The Hamburglar's minding his fucking business. What does he care what the purple turd in the hat's doing? Has nothing to do with him. But you're starting drama and inventing scenarios that just aren't true. And you're doing it because you want to appear to know something. Without any hesitation, you could give a fuck less the ramifications that has. It's easy to sit there in another state and do all of that shit and not worry about nothing, isn't it? No, because you hope by doing it, you're poking the bear. I got a friend in South Philly that tells me all the time, don't poke the bear. They're not going to like the reaction. And I'm telling all of you, don't poke the bear. You're not going to like the reaction. You're dealing with fucking men who, allegations aside, won't hesitate. And if that's what you want to do, by all means, go ahead and do it. That's up to you. But stop inventing scenarios and storylines that come out of a fucking book. You make fools of yourself, whether you realize it or not. And I know a lot of people are going to see this and go, oh, here he goes, talking about this like he knows people. I don't give a fuck what you people think about me. I really don't. Because you can think about it, but you think about it in 12 states away. That's just the truth. I've got nothing to prove to anybody. What I make every month, whatever. That's all I care about. That's all I care about. I make my money and I keep it moving. But you're not going to talk about my friends. That's right. I said friends. And you all tried to say, I didn't know this one, I didn't know that one. But the minute you hear that really you're wrong, you got nothing to say then. Then you move on to let's talk about his looks. Whatever. Just clean your fucking acts up. Stop being jerk-offs. Stop being little fanboys. Joey is not going to leave his wife for you. Get over it. Get over it.